Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 172 of the I Rock Knits podcast. It is a glorious day here in Minnesota on the southwestern suburbs of Minneapolis and St. Paul. And so welcome, everybody. I am wearing my scoop of summer tea because it is feeling like summer is coming. We are having a beautiful, sunny, warm day. It was so hot on the deck yesterday. I had to come in. We're just not used to these temperatures. And things have greened up so beautifully. My husband was out of town all week for work. He went to North Carolina and South Carolina and traveled to many different places while he was there. And I said, when you come home, you are not going to believe how green it's got. And he got home and he said, I can't believe how green it is. So yeah, it just has greened up beautifully. I always say, and I've said this before, there's nothing happier than a Minnesotan in spring. We are just so thankful for beautiful, nice weather. I do not have a guest this week, so everybody's going to get the same podcast. I have two set up in the next few days, but they didn't happen before this recording needed to go live, so I just decided that I was just going to go ahead and share a whole bunch of things with you today. It'll be kind of short and sweet. I've had a rough week. Ross was gone out of town, and Monday I woke up with the stomach flu, and Chevy is like a toddler and he doesn't understand when mama is sick, and so he needed still all the attention and to go out and come back in, and I was not capable of doing that. So it was rough. I was sick for a couple days, thrown up sick, like not just upset stomach, and then the second day it was the other end, and that wasn't good either. So man, I just was really. And so I slept hours and hours each day. I just was wiped out. I'm still having trouble with this ear from when I had the vertigo a few weeks ago. So I'm wondering if we had terrible big storm on Monday, and I'm wondering if my ear wasn't affected because it still feels a little plugged, a little off. I went into my chiropractor and he took a look at it and he did some massage on my face and some pounding and some release on my head. I really feel like it's just got water in it, and it doesn't. He looked in my ear, it doesn't. And it was better, but now it still kind of feels full. It's not achy, but there's no infection. I don't know what to do for it. I can't quite get it to but my jaw is much better since my dislocation of my jaw 2 years ago. My parents were here for Easter. That was lovely. I can't believe they came up. They're 90 and 86, and that's just amazing that they could drive the 4 hours and come up and stay with us. So that was really nice. But one of the first things my mom said is, you're not biting your lip as much. And I said, no, it's gotten much better. You know, I had Botox in it for a year, 4 times, and it has gotten better, but this whole side of my face is tight, especially this muscle in here. And the chiropractor said that too. So he worked on my scalenes, I think that's what they're called, and this muscle, and he released that muscle, and oh, did that hurt. It was so tight. I mean, hurt, but you know it's a good hurt, like when you have a massage and they're getting in there, right? So yeah, it was just a rough week. I lost like 3 days, and I needed those 3 days. I was just not going to cook dinner, right? Husband's out of town. I'm not going to cook. I'm not going to have to, do anything. I just can work, and I didn't get any work done. So, I just been trying to get caught up around here. So I'm going to try to keep this, all that to say, I'm going to try to keep this a little short and sweet. Shepherd's Harvest is coming this weekend. I'm so excited. You guys are not going to believe it. Amber and Stacy are coming to stay. We haven't seen one another in forever. And yeah, so it's going to just be lovely. Everyone's coming to my house. I always have a big gathering of people. Ross goes fishing because it's fishing opener for walleye here in Minnesota. And so he's always gone. I'm always a fishing widow. And so for the last few years, I've just said, hey, everybody can come here. We'll knit all day on Friday. Come and go as you like. You can stay with me and leave when you want to or whatever. And so we're going to have a house full on Friday. I'm just so excited just to be surrounded by knitters and people. And And then we'll be at the festival on Saturday. Amber and Stacy are coming in on Thursday night. So this is Stacy Knits, who's been on the podcast, and Amber Lindemann of Yarn Hoarder. And Thursday afternoon, they will get here, I guess. And Matt and Bonnie are coming to stay with me and them. And then Josh Brown is coming over, who we haven't seen forever, if you used to watch the Dairyland Knits podcast. So he's coming over from Wisconsin, and Renee, Nitroverted, will be here. Who else? Janet and Mary, who've been on the podcast. I mean, we're just going to have a crew. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. And you know what happens? Everybody brings treats to share, and then nobody eats it because there's so much. So we're going to have food all over the kitchen. Yeah, it's going to be really nice. I'm really excited about that. So we will be at Shepherd's Harvest all day on Saturday. They're going to leave by 6 o'clock or 5:30 because they're taking flights home to be with their families for Mother's Day. And then I think everybody will pretty much clear out of here on Saturday night because everybody's going to be kind of exhausted from being together. And so my daughter and son-in-law, I haven't said that a whole lot, have gotten in touch and said, what do you want to do for Mother's Day since Dad's gone? So I think we'll get together on Sunday a little bit. But yeah, that should be really nice. I did do a birthday brunch with Matt and Renee and Bonnie for my birthday, and that was really nice. We went out on Friday. My birthday was a couple weeks ago, but this is the first time. We always get together for pancakes on birthdays. And man, is that nice. I got some nice gifts. Matt bought me breakfast. Bonnie and Renee brought me gifts. Like, when you're going to be retirement age soon, you should probably not be still be getting birthday gifts, but it was so much fun. Speaking of that, I have the cutest little cup here. I don't know if you're all going to be able to read it. Maybe I have to put something up behind it. It says, fueled by books and Diet Coke. Isn't that cute? It just came. I got one for Kylie too. And it's from Pippi Post. And they do a lot of stickers and things. And they do a lot of stickers with Diet Coke. And I love my Diet Coke. And so this is a glass jar, and I thought it was just really cute. And so I've been trying to cut down a little bit. I used to have 2 every day, and now I've been trying to have 1.5. Does that count? I'm a sipper. I'm a really slow sipper. So we fill a mug like this with ice. And I got this out this morning. Well, fairly early because I was thirsty after being outside. And I think I still have this much left. Like, it's a huge mug, but I just sip all day. And I don't care that it gets, well, this keeps it really cold, but it gets a little watered down and a little flat. And I just don't care. I just sip on it all day. Just probably not. Don't lecture me. Diet Coke for the haters. That's what that gal on Instagram says all the time. She's lost so much weight and she does all these protein meals, but then she likes Diet Coke, and people just ream her out for drinking Diet Coke. And I think, you know what? We all have some things. We don't need to be reaming one another out for anything. Okay, let's talk about my finished objects. This is the Windowpane vest. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. I just love it. It is by Diana Lamb, and you knit the horizontal stripes in, and then you go back later and you duplicate stitch the vertical stripes. So that takes a little while, but honestly, I will say once I got about this far down on the first one, I got really good at it. I got the perfect length of yarn. It's definitely a blown yarn. It's very furry, but I think I did a pretty good job. Yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. I'm kind of into vests because you don't have to knit sleeves. They go so much faster. So any of you with bigger chests like, you know, me and bigger than me, it's so much faster to knit a vest. So I'm hoping to wear that for Shepherd's Harvest. It's supposed to be really, really warm on Saturday. So I'm hoping that I can wear it because there's a neckerchief knit along going on. Emily of the Botanical Knitter did a call and said, hey, let's all knit a little scarf, necker scarf, and we'll wear them at Shepherd's Harvest, and then we'll have a get together and we'll take a picture. And so I didn't have a neckerchief scarf that coordinated, and the one, my little one that I designed was at LYS Day as a sample, and I just got it back, so I would have had it, but I didn't know if I'd get it back from the yarn store in time. So I knit up this little one, and isn't it darling? So this is going to be a new design. If you need to knit a neckerchief by Saturday, let me know and I'll send you this pattern because I wrote it. But I just cast on and I knit the tiniest little stockinette piece with I-cord edge. Like, just the quickest. This is quicker than anything that's out there. So I'm not a huge fan of garter stitch, you guys know that, and so they're all garter stitchy and they're pointy and whatever. And so then, yeah, I thought, how quick can I make a little necker, and I'm calling this a Nifty Necker Scarf, just to be different. And yeah, so there we go. I just tied it up. Oh, I didn't do a very good job of that, but anyway. So yeah, isn't that fun? I thought it was really fun. So hopefully there'll be lots of people wearing little neckerchiefs on Saturday. And they're having a meetup at 1 o'clock. I'm hoping to meet up with some folks at 1:30 behind the food trucks in the grassy area where there's a few picnic tables behind the food trucks. And hopefully it's not too hot and we can meet up and take some pictures there too, right after Emily's meetup. So we'll tag team off of that. So yeah, I did the Windowpane vest and then the little scarf coordinated. So I'll be really bummed if I have to wear a different top because it's too warm for that, but we'll see. It's fine. And then second Carbeth sweater. This yarn is amazing. This is Malibrigo Chunky in the Rhodesian Ridgeback colorway. And I walked a Rhodesian Ridgeback at the dog park. I walked with his mom and this dog, Penny, for at least a year. Every day we met at the dog park. And then she had multiple brain injury concussions in a row. Had one, and then several months later fell at a swimming pool and hit the back of her head on a wooden bench and had a second concussion and was incapacitated for months. She was in her house in a dark room, no TV, no books, no listening. I mean, it was really bad. And so I went and picked up her dog every day and took her dog to the dog park. And she lived quite a bit north of me. So I would drive up, get the dog, bring the dog to the dog park, and then I would take the dog back and open her front door and let the dog in. And so when I saw this colorway at B Woolen called Rhodesian Ridgeback, I was like, I have to get that. It's the exact color of Penny. Exact color. And I don't know what that line is because that does not show in person. I mean, maybe there's a little light, I don't know what that is, but it's just it's not that pronounced in person. That looks like it has a stripe in it. But anyway, I had shown my other Carbeth, and this one in the thicker yarn, the other one was more of an Aran and this is more of a chunky, which they're kind of close, but it is so soft. It's just lovely. Way out of season to wear it. Way out of season, but it's just lovely. So when I sat down today, I'm like, oh, Cori, you got all the orange going on. This sweater has, I'll put a picture in of the bottom of this sweater, but it has little flowers around the bottom. Yeah, it's really cute. So I'll hopefully have edited out that little lifting up of the bottom of my shirt, which was very inappropriate. Oh my gosh. Patreon members, if you're not a Patreon member, would you consider going over and supporting me? For just $2 a month, you can get access to a bi-monthly book club and knit night that we do on Zoom, and we have a really nice community over there. And then you get updates about new patterns, you get discount codes for my patterns, and if you're a $10 monthly member, you get every single one of my patterns that I publish, which I usually do about one a month. I'm behind this year because I have several things coming out shortly, so I haven't done one a month. But if you want to become a $10 member, you're going to get every one of my patterns that I publish in a year, and so that's kind of a nice benefit. But $2, $4, or $10 a month. And this next month here, May, we are having our knit night on Monday, May 12th. So not too far away here, from 7 to 8. We're going to knit together on Zoom. That's just really fun. And we usually have, 10 people show up. It's not a huge group, but we just chat about what we're knitting, what we're making. And that's been really lovely. And then I chose the book for the next book club, and it is going to be in June, because we do that every other month, knit night, book club. And book club is just read the book and come talk about it and knit together. So it's not too threatening. You don't have to talk if you don't want to. That's going to be June 24th, and we're going to read the book, The Extraordinary Deaths of Mrs. Kipp. It's the best book I read this month. I don't know that it's the best book club book for like discussion, but I do think that it has some topics that we can talk about, and it is, it's funny, and it's sad, and it's heartwarming, and there's kind of a crotchety old lady who's being forced to go to a nursing home, and she doesn't want to go, and it's such a good story. Yeah, and there's a journalist who's being given an assignment and needs to go and talk to Mrs. Kipp. And yeah, it's really, really good, and I hope a bunch of you want to read it with us. That would be really fun if we had a bunch of people read or listen. I always listen. But yeah, it was one of my favorites last month, and I thought that's just what I'm going to pick. It's a feel-good, about end of life, but not super depressing at all, because she has the best outlook. Now, I will premise this with, it is Christian based. The main character in the book has a strong Christian faith that she shares throughout the entire book. So if that's something that would turn you off, I just enjoyed it. I just enjoyed her faith was shown on the page a lot. And I didn't mind it at all. So I just thought, I'm going to just pick that. I know that there are a number of you out there who are also Christians and wouldn't be offended by that. So, but I should premise the book that I chose with that. Okay, we are having the Farm Yarn Knit Along right now, and it kind of kicked off on April 26th, but that does not mean you can't join. It goes all the way until September 20th. It's because we are giving spinners, those of you who are spinners, a chance to spin yarn all summer and then use it to knit up the shawl and still be in for prizes by the end of September. So if you want to just knit the shawl, you can feel free to do that. You can go over and buy farm yarn, 2 skeins of DK weight, although I used a light DK, almost fingering sport weight yarn for one of them, and added an extra repeat at the bottom, because it did turn out a little smaller. When you use a skinnier yarn, the shawl turns out a little smaller. So I just added a little repeat at the bottom. But the other 2 that were knit up in a DK weight, a full DK weight. It's a really fun pattern. It has a little slip stitch at the top, knit one, slip one, every other color, and then a plain section, and then a knit one, slip one. And then it just has this little flower stitch that's really easy to do in like 3 sections divided by stockinette. They're easy. It's a half triangle, so it starts out as crescent shaping, and when you get halfway through, you switch to make the bottom half just a little bit pointy so that it's nice and long, and it's not too severe a point, and it's not too deep. So it's got an interesting construction in that way. I've not seen another shawl that is half and half. Oh, my puppy's on the driveway, so I just had to look. He's outside with his dad, so they went to get the car washed, and he rode along. He just must have jumped out of the back of the car. But yeah, so if you would like to join us, that would be awesome. I put up a chatter thread so you can share your yarns in my Ravelry group. And then I also am featuring the finished objects thread, where you're going to post your finished object on Ravelry, and then we have prizes. And so all the farms that are involved and some of the local yarn stores are going to be gifting patterns. So I've started to make the list. So far we have a $25 gift card from Prairie Road Yarns in Sioux Falls. Thank you, Jane. And we have a skein of the yarn from Lavender Loon, And I think we will also have skein of yarn or roving from a couple of the other farms. And then I'm giving away 5 of my knitting patterns of your choice, and then any knitting pattern you would like, 1 pattern on Ravelry. So far we were starting to gather in those prizes for that knit along. I'm waiting to hear back from a couple of the people, but that is also listed in that thread. So if you want to join us and knit the farm yarn shawl, it's really a fun shawl to knit. And I'm excited that we're gonna honor some farm yarns. People are working really hard to farm yarn, shear sheep, and have it milled and processed. That's a big job, you know, after watching some of my last podcasts. So I have a couple of things that I saw on the internet that I want to share with everyone. There was a article in the Independent that somebody linked on Instagram, but it's called "How Scandal Rocked the Knitting Community." Really interesting article. I will link it in the show notes. I will link it in the snow. You guys, I can't talk. I will link it in the show notes down below, so you can go over and take a look at that article. It's about how, you know, things in the knitting community have been a little in upheaval. And I found it pretty interesting. And then I linked on my Instagram earlier this week a video by Sarah Rose Kaplan, and she is a comedian. On Instagram, she posted this thing about, is it a chair or not a chair? And it is so good. So I will put a little bit of the clip in here at this point, but I don't think I can put the whole thing because it's a little long, like a couple minutes, and I don't want to steal her information.
Your hand. If you don't think it's a chair, I want you to look around at each other judgmentally, like all these people. Okay? Great, so not everyone is raising their hand, which is interesting, because chair is like a stupid, simple word. You know? All right, we're just going to go quick. Chair or not chair?
Chair.
Beautiful. Yeah, you can say it out loud. That works too. Chair or not chair?
Chair.
Chair or not chair?
Not chair. Not chair. Not chair.
Okay, so it's like a 40-60 split. That's fascinating to me. Again, chair is a word you learn in kindergarten. Chair or not chair? Isn't this kind of weird though? Isn't it like interesting that this simple word that we all use like most days is like
I'll have the link to Instagram in the show notes too. You really want to watch it. It will make you laugh, and it's her thought process is really interesting on this. Okay, I have a couple of things that I purchased recently that I want to share with you. Look at this cute little container I got from Vera Bradley on sale. They had some clear containers, clear pouches. I have that orange clear bag that I love carrying. It's so well made. It's really nice vinyl, and it's got orange around it, orange handles and orange top, and it's a tote bag, and I just love it. But here, I'll take the stuff out so you can kind of, I was gonna knit another kerchief with a cable in it so that I could have that in the pattern as well. The VeraBradleyOutlet.com. And I think it was $17, and it's called the Essential Clear Lotion Bag. But I just thought it was really fun to put some skeins of yarn in, you know, and then just be able to see what you have, take it with you. Wouldn't, you know, if your water bottle or your Diet Coke spills in your knitting bag. I struggle with knitting bags sometimes because I don't know what's in them. I try to match the color to the color of the project. That's usually what I do. But yeah, I thought that was kind of a cute little bag, and they had them on clearance. So they were, and it's nice vinyl. Like, I don't think it's gonna crack. It's thick. Yeah, so anyway, let's do the giveaway because we have a giveaway winner this week. So we have all the things. We have the Skein of Fixation yarn, which is the kind of elasticy yarn, great for little shorty socks. I love mine. A little notebook, some stitch marker, a sticker, a tried on tubing cord from Fiber MacGyver, because I have several of these, and then some really pretty blue stitch markers to match. And that is going to Miriam E. Co. of my Patreon community. So Miriam, get in touch with me and send me your address and I will get that in the mail to you. And then for next time, and these prizes just go out to my Patreons, this is 2 skeins of Deborah Norville sock yarn was donated to me, and it's really quite pretty. Yeah, so it's called Teal Tees, and the 2 skeins have 50 grams, 230 yards. So you get 460 yards here. And then I picked out another little package of stitch markers. This has a leaf and a little pair of flip-flops, and it's just really cute. It's kind of a fun little, there's an acorn in there. Yeah, cute little stitch markers, a clicker, and a knitting calculator. I have one of these. They're kind of nice. You can move them up and down. So I'm putting that in the package as well. So that will be our giveaway for next time, episode 173. I'm gonna show you some whips this week because they're getting a little out of control at my house. And so I just thought, so I have to get that second necker scarf done. But I cast on, I gotta lift it up here. I cast on my bee woolen blanket. So in these kits, you get 10 skeins of Malabrigo Rios yarn, and they have tons of colorways. So they've named all the colorways, and of course, several years ago, I right away bought the rainbow one. So the blanket is the Malabrigo slip stitch blanket, and so it's kind of a striped blanket, and it's like a 4-row repeat, and you're just alternating your colors the whole way up. And they give you the list of the colors you're gonna do in the order that you're gonna do them. and you get the pattern in the kit as well. So I taught some beginner knitters in March how to knit, and then they went up to their first yarn store visit, and they bought kits. They dove all in. They bought 10 skeins of Malabrigo and came home and texted me and said, we want to knit this blanket. And I was like, okay, you have made one hat. You're going to jump right in on this blanket. But it is a really fun kit, and the colorways are beautiful. And I said, you know what? I own that blanket, and I've never cast it on. So we all cast on. You start with an I-cord cast on. And then it is a slip stitch blanket. So it's knit one, slip one, knit one, and then knit, purl. And then that repeats for 48 rows or so, 50 rows, something like that. And then you do it again with the 2 new colors. And then you do it again. So the whole blanket kind of stripes, but it coordinates 2 colors together. Now, my beginners are farther along than I am. I just needed to do it so that I could teach them how to get started. But I don't have time with my design work to be knitting on this. I really like to be knitting on this, so I might put it in my car, just the 2 skeins in this, and have it in my car so that if I'm stranded somewhere, I won't feel guilty knitting on it. But yeah, it's gonna turn out really, really pretty. And so I have that on the needles, and they're getting this far, you know. Slip stitch doesn't grow real fast, but if you do those knit and purl rows in between, that will help. So that I got cast on. Fiber MacGyver is having a Lento knit along. And if you have not seen that, you can still join in. She was selling a skein of fingering weight. I'm just gonna hold this up. A skein of fingering weight and a skein of Surrey or mohair with as a kit, and you ordered how many skeins you wanted, and she has tons of colorways made up. So I picked this really bright and cheerful one, and every Tuesday night they're having a live. So if you've never knit a sweater before, they're trying to help people get on board with making their first sweater be this Lento. It is knit on a large needle, so it does have a folded neckline, but you don't have to do the folded neckline. You could just cast on and do ribbing, but I did the folded neckline, and then you double it over and knit it together. And then now I've got my stitches set up for my raglan increases. So it's a basic raglan, top-down raglan at a large gauge. You're supposed to knit on a size 10 needle, and I think that that gauge for me is too open. And the mohair and the suri will kind of fill it in, but I have knit something at a large gauge before and didn't love it. So I'm gonna knit mine on a 9. I'm just going down a needle size just to have it be a little bit less, you know, open. And I can accommodate that because I know how sweaters fit me and how to kind of accommodate for that. So it's turning out really, really, it's brighter than that in person. It's a little neon-y. I mean, not terrible, but yeah, it's very pretty. So these two, right? What do I always say? The mohair always wins. It always wins the battle. You're not gonna see the yellows and the oranges in this skein as much. The little pops will come through, but they're not gonna shine. So yeah, so I have that cast on. No business working on that either when I have all this design work to do. But then I cast on for my new little design idea, which I talked about briefly. This is gonna be the Pretty Boxes project bag. And so you are going to knit a base, pick up around it, and then knit your way up through the Pretty Boxes charts, the 3 charts, and then you split at the top. So this is not done. I only have one side of the top, which is double knit, so that you're gonna put your drawstring through one side and then the other, and I just have to do this other side tonight. So I got this part done yesterday, and then I'm gonna use a hot pink shoelace, and I'm gonna run one through one way and then one through the other way so that it will draw up. And what I did is I bought a little plastic box off of Amazon, a 5x8 plastic box, so that when I go to block it, I can set that in there. It's not quite tall enough, but I think it'll be fine to get the base to really set when I block it, so my color work evens out a little bit. Because even, you know, I knit pretty good color work, but it can still be a little bumpy. So, and you could do the inside with any of your colors. You could knit it plain. I'm going to be knitting up a bunch of these to coordinate with different things that I have designed over the years. So I'm going to do the Lollipop Park chevron in a little project bag next. These are so quick and easy. They're fun to do. It's just a little bit more knitting than a hat, right? And you get a little project bag that you can just carry. So I'm really excited about how this one is turning out. It's almost done, and I got the pattern, finished writing the pattern this afternoon. So it has to go to tech editing, and then I'm going to be looking for testers. And then next I'm casting on a new Pride shawl. So I got some Malabrigo Rios. So it's going to be kind of a light worsted DK weight in rainbow colors. I'll put the picture of the colors that I got in. They're not bright rainbow. I saw a man up at Bee Woolen holding up this shawl on their Instagram feed, and I just loved the colorways, and I love the way the shawl draped. So I'm going to kind of reimagine and redesign that a little bit. I wrote the pattern, but I haven't started knitting it yet, and that needs to come out in June. So I really need to get on that in the next few days and make sure that I get at least half of it knit, so that can go to testers as well. So I'll be calling for testers for that. It's going to be called Rainbow's Reign, R-E-I-G-N, like a king reigns. So Rainbow's Reign. And that'll come out. I always have a project that comes out, and then I donate the funds for that pattern to the Trevor Project. And right now I think that is something that I feel really important about, right? And making sure that those kids have a hotline to call, kids that are going through struggles with being gay, trans, bi, all those things. And if we can keep those kids from committing suicide and having someone to talk to, that's just really important to me. And so yeah, that will also be coming up. And then I'm going to have the other bag to do, and I'm going to be designing a project for fall release. It's going to be a vest. I've asked the yarn company for yarn support. I haven't heard back. I hope that that comes back quickly. We are going to the lake now. It's fishing season, so we will start going up to the lake on weekends and also for a whole week at the beginning of June. And so I just sit in the cabin and knit because I'm not a fisher person. And so I'm thinking if I can bang that design out while we're up there, or maybe get it even written before we go, I would have those done. Then I have a hat to do and a cowl to finish for Cascade. I'm not knitting enough. I'm teaching a ton, and I keep getting contacted to teach more. I'm already booked. My whole September is booked, a little bit of my October, and I've already booked 2 things for November. My July is really open, so that's awesome because, you know, people don't want to take classes in July necessarily, but I have a couple at the end of August, and I am going to Lancaster, Pennsylvania in August to teach again. So if any of you want to come to Lancaster and go to Yarn Fest, that was a great event. The market was big. There weren't a ton of people there. It was not a packed venue. And the hotel, which is so nice, was attached to the convention center. So like you came down the elevator and you just walked right down the stairs and went to the convention center to your classes. And that's the one that had that market, that food vendor market across kitty corner across the street that had all the different kinds of foods from around the world. That was just like a block, just like, I mean, it was just all so close together. It was just lovely. So yeah, I'm just teaching a ton, which is great, but I just don't have as much design time because I'm sending out contracts and then they're picking classes and then I'm sending handouts and then now the stuff came out to apply to teach for next year already at some of the big events. So I have to sit and apply with all my classes for that too. So it just, yeah, it's just funny how much time I spend on the computer and how little time I have to knit. So ask me why. And I cast on my pretty boxes. Where's that? I cast on a pretty boxes in Kenzie yarn in lime green because I'm teaching a class in 2 weeks at a yarn store here in town for 3 weekends to make the pretty boxes sweater. And I was like, I need to have that on the needles. So I cast on and did my ribbing. That's all the farther I got. And I mean, that's for class, so it had to happen, right? Because I want to show them how to do the short rows. It's kind of hard to show if you don't have a sweater on the needles, right? So I thought, okay, this might be some people's first time knitting a sweater or doing color work, so I better have that on the needles too. So I got that cast on. I just have all these projects on the needles, and some of them are just not the things I should be working on. Oh, scattered, you know, just so many things. But I just thought I would show you those things that I kind of got going there. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted that Necker Scarf to come out last week and it didn't happen because I got sick. Okay, let's talk about the audiobooks of the week, shall we? I read 4 books in the last 2 weeks, listened to 4 books in the last 2 weeks, and I gave all of them 4 stars or higher. Did you decide you had to jump up quick, Chev, from under the table? Yeah, that's Dad. That's Daddy. Just shut the door. It's fine. Okay, I finally read Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alare Sands. So good. It's so good. Oh my gosh. That's the other book that I was thinking about reading for book club. I might have to switch it over. I'll be thinking about that because maybe we should do that one for book club. It is really good. This is what the premise is. Aristotle is an angry teen with a brother in prison. Dante is a know-it-all who has an unusual way of looking at the world. When the two meet at a swimming pool, they seem to have nothing in common. But as the loners start spending time together, they discover that they have a special friendship, the kind that changes lives and lasts a lifetime. And something major happens, and it really is just a wonderful story about these 2 young boys, men, you know, they're 16-ish. It was the best YA book of all time in 2021. It's really good, and it's a major motion picture, and I didn't want to watch it before I got it read. So I finally got that read. Highly recommend. It was really good. Then I read The Rivers of London, which is also known as Midnight Riot by Ben Aronovich. I'm not sure why it has two titles. I think if I looked correctly, it was because he wrote a British version or something. I don't know. Also known, it has that right on the cover. Also known as, so I don't know. This is a murder mystery detective with a little bit of science fiction fantasy. Probationary Constable Peter Grant dreams of being a detective in London's Metropolitan Police. Too bad his superior plans to assign him to the case progression unit, where the biggest threat he'll face is a paper cut. But Peter's prospects change in the aftermath of a puzzling murder when he gains an eyewitness who happens to be a ghost. So yeah, I did like it. I thought it was really an interesting premise. He really wants to rise up in the police force. It does take place in London. And but he meets this ghost and he thinks he's crazy. And then he finds another guy on the police force who believes in the same thing. And yeah, it was really quite good. Not my favorite of the month, but right up there. I did really like it. Then I read The Rom-Commers. Oh my gosh, this has been on my list and people have been talking about it. And I didn't know. The Rom-Commers, you're kind of like, is it going to be super light? Is it going to be real fluffy? So good, you guys, so good. I loved this. Emma Wheeler desperately longs to be a screenwriter. She spent her life studying, obsessing over, and writing romantic comedies. Good ones that win contests. But she's also been the sole caretaker for her kind-hearted dad who needs full-time care. Now, when she gets a chance to rewrite a script for a famous screenwriter, her personal writing god, it's a break too big to pass up. It's really good. She gets, she's been taking care of her father for 10 years and she can hardly leave him alone. And she loves him dearly. He's had a terrible accident, but it's so, it was so good. And you know where it's going and you know where it's headed, but I still really liked it. And it had a lot of plot twists and turns. So it didn't go in a straight line to she meets a guy and falls in love, right? Just because it's a romantic comedy. It was really good. And then my favorite book of the month, this month, which I'm shocked that it topped the rom-commers and the other one, was The Extraordinary Deaths of Mrs. Kipp. This is by Sarah Brunsvold, and it is light and sad and funny. And so I talked about a little why I chose it. Aidan Kelly is a talented, ambitious, and ready for a more serious assignment than the fluff pieces she's been getting as a cub reporter for the Kansas City Star. In her eagerness, she pushes too hard, earning herself the menial task of writing an obituary for an unremarkable woman who's just entered hospice care. You guys, just go read it, go buy it, go get it at the library, I bought a hardcover copy to put on my favorite bookshelf. I liked it that much. I already bought the book and I don't even read them, but I want my favorite books of all time to always be on this one shelf in my family room. So yeah, that's what I did. Well, I think that's about all I have for you this week. We are going to go grab a bite to eat out. My husband's been gone all week and he did not have good food on the road. And so we went out with friends last night. We went out with Renee, Nitroverted, and her partner John, and our next door neighbors, because Renee and John just moved a mile down the road. And so our next door neighbors had asked if we could go out to dinner, and we had already made plans with Renee and John, so we did. And then we went over to the neighbors and played Mexican Train again last night. Even though Ross was just dead tired, I said to him, do you want to go? He's like, yeah, we can go play some. And then when we were playing, I said, do you want to play one more? You want to go home? And he's like, no, we can play one more. And I'm like, you are so tired. He was on East Coast time all week. And then, but no, we just laughed and laughed. We had just a lovely dinner out. And I said to him earlier, I said, do you want me to make something for supper? And he's like, no, I think I'll just take my wife out to eat so we can talk. I'm like, I am game for that. So I didn't have to cook anything on this beautiful afternoon. I'm going to go outside with Chevy for a little bit here and just throw him the Frisbee. And Ross had fed him supper. And so it's kind of late, getting later in the day, but I think it's about 5:30. And I hope you all have a really good spring. I hope that I will get to see some of you at these events I have coming up. If you're not signed up for my newsletter from iRockKnits.com, please go over and do that, because I only send an update when I have something to tell you all, or I have a new pattern coming out, and I'm going to send a newsletter in the next 24 to 48 hours. So go sign up for my newsletter so you know what's going on, what I have to tell you. Yeah. Get in touch in the comments. Tell me what you're knitting on, will you? Do you have too many whips? How many whips do you have? Are you getting all the knitting done you want to get done? Is this time of year, do things slow down and you just, don't get as much knitting done? I don't know. I did a lot of stuff around the house on Thursday and Friday. I moved our ficus trees out onto the deck. They had dropped all of their leaves. They always come back, but they make such a mess on my 3-season porch. And, well, actually it's a 4-season porch. They make such a mess on my 4-season porch, and I've got lots of plants out there, but they just drop all their leaves, and we always think they're gonna die, and we put them out on the deck for the summer, and they just thrive. So I did that, and then I filled the bird feeders and hung a thistle seed feeder and got some stuff. My patio furniture is up on the deck, and so I put the tablecloth out there and the orange umbrella, and yeah, it's just starting to feel like spring. I don't have flowers out yet, but they're in. I ordered them through a guy who has a greenhouse in a parking lot over in the next town. And I just text him in the spring what I need, how many I need for my window boxes and my planters. And then he makes sure that he has, whatever I need. And then I just go pick it all up. He's a really nice guy, retired teacher, and he just does this for May and June. And we're not supposed to plant before Mother's Day, but it's getting so close, and I think we're going to have a really warm week. So I think I could go pick up all that stuff, and we could get that planted this week too. Then it will really feel like spring. I noticed two of my neighbors opened their pools today for kids, and yeah, it's 77 degrees out there. So, even though it gets cool at night still, the pools are starting to open in the neighborhood. So I'm glad we don't have a pool, because that's just too much work. But it's fun to hear them getting everything ready. And all right, come in for a hug here. Love you all. I hope that I can meet some of you, run into some of you as I traipse around the country here in the next 6 to 7 months. And I will see you next time. Bye.
Oh, you do got some power in there in those little teeth that you got. Yes, you do. Oh, so pretty.
You think we have food?
Yeah.
You think we have food? We don't have food. We don't have food.
Screw you guys. I'm gonna go find some food.